Hello, I'm the real-life fake wizard. A research and consulting firm called Ampere Analysis just presented a study claiming that female players are, quote, an overlooked opportunity for growth in the gaming industry. Their senior analyst, Katie Holt, stood up at a conference and told a room full of executives that women make up 48% of all gamers, that the industry is leaving money on the table, and that studios should be developing new types of content, including romance, lifestyle, cooking, travel, and fashion-themed games paired with puzzle and simulation games in order to attract women who do not currently play any video games at all. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, gee, attracting females that don't play games at all, well, that sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? You're right. This is not exactly new. We've heard the data from different consulting firms, different analysts, different conferences for the better part of the last decade, maybe even more. We need more women in gaming. Women are underrepresented. Women make up half of the gaming populace now. And all of those claims are coming from people who are not giving you the full picture, and they're coming from a place of bias and prerogative. Every single time a studio has taken those claims seriously, the results have been catastrophic. Not for the consulting firm, of course. They got paid and they get to sail into the sunset to spread more divisive rhetoric. But for the studios, the developers, and the actual paying customers, they'll watch franchises get dismantled in pursuit of an audience that doesn't exist. The data reported by Ampere Analysis is troubling. There is evidence of sexism for both men and women in this data, and should any executive take this information seriously, it paints a picture where there will be even fewer new video games that are made for men. Today's indie game shoutout is Environmental Station Alpha, an action-adventure platformer with a retro aesthetic and heavy emphasis on exploration. In the game, the player controls a robot sent to investigate a mysterious abandoned space station with the mission to find out what exactly took place there. To find out more about this and hundreds of other indie games, visit our free indie game discovery network, fakeportal.com, or scan the QR code on your screen. Now back to the video. Let's start with the headline figure here. 48% of gamers are women. It sounds like near parity, doesn't it? It sounds like men and women play games in almost equal numbers. Well, let me tell you what the number actually means. That 48% includes everyone. Every single person who plays anything on any device. Your aunt playing Candy Crush on her iPad while watching Jeopardy? She's in that number. Your mom playing Royal Match on her phone during her lunch break? She's in that number. Is someone who downloaded Wordle once in 2022 and forgot about it? They're probably in that number. These are counted the same as someone who put 2,000 hours into Elden Ring or plays Highguard every single night after work. Rare breed you Highguard players are. And the study itself reveals their own data contradicts the headline. When respondents were given a list of 52 console and PC games, only 3 games had more female players than male. Animal Crossing, The Sims 4, and Roblox. That's it! On mobile, 13 out of 50 games skewed female. So the data is actually telling you that women are overwhelmingly concentrated in mobile and casual gaming, which is a market that already exists alive and well and is already being served by thousands of games and billions of dollars in revenue. But see, that doesn't make for a good presentation at a conference. Hey executives, the market is functioning as expected. Yeah, that doesn't sell consulting contracts. So instead, you take the 48% number, you slap it on a slide, and you tell a room full of corporate decision makers that they're missing out on, 922 million females? Every suit in that room will get dollar signs in their eyes. Cha-ching! I've talked about things like this before on this channel. These analytics firms lump mobile gaming in with console and PC and then act shocked when the demographics look different than what publishers see in their actual sales data. Female Candy Crush players who spend their afternoons going to brunch with the gals and then go home and watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians are not in the same bucket as the sweaty pro gamer who's been playing World of Warcraft for 19 years. These two are not the same. They have never been the same. But pretending they're the same is how you manufacture a narrative about an untapped market. Katie Holt, the analyst presenting this, actually said that there is a subset of female non-gamers who, quote, lack the education around how to play these games and what content is out there. Her solution to this alleged problem is, quote, entry-level content that is appropriate. Let's read that again. A research firm just told the games industry that women are too uneducated to understand video games and that the studios need to make simpler, easy content to accommodate them. They're saying women need their hands held, they need training wheels, and can't handle what's already on the shelves. See, the specificity here is in the word how. Lack the education around how to play these games. Chat, how do we learn how to play Bloodborne? Oh, what's that? Get good? Figure it out? How do we learn how to play Halo? Play the campaign, maybe? How do we learn how to play Call of Duty? Play Call of Duty. I think all of these are pretty simple. And in the same way, let's see, for an example, I'm not good at Bloodborne, which I'm not. I'm not good at Souls-like games. Should Bloodborne or any Souls game need to adjust itself down to entry-level content that is appropriate in order to cater to me? Well, no, because then it wouldn't be Bloodborne anymore, or Halo, or Call of Duty. You can't have it both ways. You can't stand at a podium and say women are silently crushing it in Fortnite lobbies, and then in the next breath, say they need entry-level experiences. Those are two completely different people. Their study needs both to be true because both support the, quote, untapped market conclusion. One of those people is already a gamer. The other has no interest in games. But this study wants developers to make non-gamers into gamers. One inflates the size of the opportunity, the other justifies the product recommendations. It's intellectually dishonest. And then we get to the genre recommendations. A little condescending with this one. Ampere's TV and film research shows that women gravitate toward romance, drama, and lifestyle content. Things like cooking, travel, and fashion. Ampere's recommendation is to take those preferences and pair them with puzzle, simulation, and adventure games. Think about what that means. They took data about what women watch on television, which is a completely passive medium, and decided that's what women must want in an interactive medium. A woman watches a cooking show on Netflix, therefore, she wants a cooking game. This is a big logical leap, and the entire recommendation framework from this company is built upon it. You're not asking female gamers what they want. This company looked at what women watch and just assumed the rest. Well, guess what, chuds? That is stereotyping on behalf of this company. That's not very progressive of you, marketing research firm. I'm not sure women like being reduced down to romance novels and cooking shows, and then that being called insight. This entire study is talking about a target market that I'm calling the unicorn audience. If you get them to buy your product, all of your wildest dreams will come true. However, they don't exist. This audience is not really there, and yet corporate executives and their consulting firms have convinced themselves this imaginary customer base does exist. An audience that looks nothing like the people who actually buy games or plays games, but has all this theoretical disposable income they're just waiting to spend. If only studios made different products. Ampere says there's a 4% gap between male and female gamers. Across their survey markets, that represents roughly 93 million fewer female gamers than male. Now that sounds humongous, right? That's the number they want executives to fixate on. There's 93 million potential customers out there? No way! Except the study also says that 47% of female non-gamers would never consider playing video games at all. So right away, you've cut your, quote, opportunity almost in half. You're down to about 49 million, and of the remaining 53%, how many gave a polite answer on your survey? Yeah, see, we have to remember here that all of this data came from surveys where they were asking questions. If given the option of why you don't play video games, which is a better answer? The gamer chud community is toxic, or I just don't care about video games? We don't actually know because this is a generalized survey and it's generalized data. 46,000 respondents self-report answering questions about their habits and preferences. Except there is decades of market research showing that consumers are terrible at predicting their own behavior and therefore give really bad survey answers. If people tell you that they're eating healthier in a survey, but then as soon as the survey's over, they're going out to the store to buy a box of Frosted Flakes. Let's also note there is no conversion funnel data in this study. There is no evidence that building romance-themed puzzle simulation hybrids actually turns a woman who doesn't play video games at all into a woman who does. Everything this study reports is purely speculation. Now, you want to talk about education, right? And ease of access to gaming? These non-gamer women are people in developed economies already. They have smartphones. They have access to every gaming platform on Earth. Game Pass ads are everywhere. And everything's an Xbox, which means you have access to gaming everywhere. Steam is free to download, and it is a massive platform. Lots of non-gamer girls know what this sound means. And gaming has been a mainstream cultural force for decades. These women have been exposed to the existence of video games their entire lives, and they still haven't bought in. This is not a lack of access problem, as these researchers want to claim. It's not an affordability issue. It's not an awareness problem. The study says so itself, that the barriers aren't money or time. These women just don't want to play video games. So if I'm to get this right, Ampere is actually recommending that studios change their products to match the preferences of people who don't buy the products. Question: in what other industry would that survive a board meeting? You should be laughed out of the room. This is like going to Porsche and saying people who don't buy sports cars prefer minivans, and then concludes that Porsche should start making minivans. You're abandoning the market that is itching to give you money to chase a unicorn that isn't there. The games women love weren't built this way. Every game that has successfully attracted a massive female audience did so by accident, historically speaking. It did not come from a consulting firm's demographic playbook. In fact, historically, by following the advice of these consulting firms, brands that are 10 and 20 years old are routinely put in the ground. No, games that have female players didn't get those players with consulting or TV viewing preferences or pandering to specific genres. It was simply by having excellent games. The Sims was not built because EA commissioned a study about what women want. Animal Crossing was not designed to target to women. It just happened to resonate with women, and there was a pandemic during the era of the game's last release, putting the game to the forefront of available options to entertain one's time while still indoors. Stardew Valley was one guy in his bedroom for 4 years making the game he personally wanted to play, and it happened to sell over 30 million copies with a massive female player base. Baldur's Gate 3 has an enormous female audience. Larian built an absurdly deep RPG with genuine narrative consequence, real romantic complexity, and characters that felt like actual people. Women and men alike showed up in droves. This study is pitching the opposite of how every success story in this space has actually worked. Great games attract diverse audiences. Demographically engineered products attract no one, and no one wants them. Who actually benefits from this study? Ampere Analysis is a consulting firm. They sell insights and advisory services to entertainment companies. That's how they make their money. A study that says everything is fine, your current audience is being well served, keep doing what you're doing, folks, doesn't generate new clients. Nor does a study that says serve your current audience better draw headlines, especially at a time when the video game industry has made it clear they actively hate and detest their current audiences that do buy products. Every executive who reads a headline saying women are underserved in gaming will panic about missing growth and will become a potential Ampere customer. Do you know the complete study we're talking about here is paywalled? Yes, for posterity, if I was to get the complete research report we're talking about here, we would need to call them and pay for it. Our reporting in this video comes from an analysis of the research posted by Chris Scullion at VGC. And nobody reporting on this study is mentioning the fact this is a sales pitch designed to create negative buzz. Guys, we're literally talking about grifters here. They're taking the numbers at face value and running stories about how the industry needs to do better for women. This is a consulting firm selling a product, and that product is fear. Fear that you're leaving money on the table. Fear that your competitors will capture this audience first. And the way to overcome that fear, conveniently, is by hiring Ampere to tell you how to overcome the risk. Look, here's where I want to land on this. The discussion around women in gaming has become so bastardized and so corporatized that it doesn't even resemble a real conversation anymore. On one side, you've got people who genuinely hate the idea of women playing games at all. Those people are obviously short-sighted. However, on the other side, you've got consulting firms and corporate strategists using women as a prop to justify horrible business decisions. They don't actually care about women, and they certainly don't care about the men who made this industry what it is. I believe that part of this study is to incite controversy, to start some kind of new Gamergate-esque situation. But let's look at all the cards on the table, right? Today, there are more female protagonists leading AAA games than ever before. We have 10 and 20-year franchises having their male protagonists replaced with women hitting those quotas of representation. And besides that, there are overall significantly more women in gaming, and not just mobile gaming. And that's not because of companies altering their aim. Streaming and content creator culture has opened the floodgates and invited women in to the gaming sphere. Women come across games through social media and content creators and streamers, and eventually lots of them want to try it out. That number grows yearly. Every single time corporations take the advice of these consultancy firms as fact, the existing customers get burned. Developers lose their jobs, franchises die, and those same out-of-touch executives who listened to the snake oil salesman research firms will look around and say, time for my golden parachute. I don't know when this industry is going to learn. Perhaps it never will. It probably won't. But you want to know how to make infinite money? Make good games. That's it. That is literally it. Make good games and people will play them and people will buy them. Men, women, everybody. You want people to buy your consoles? Make good games. You want more sales and more profits? Make good games. No, we don't want roadmaps. We don't want half-assed releases. We don't want $100 season passes that still don't cover all of the content. We just want to play good games and you will make billions. Gamers go to work, they come home, and they sit with their wallets burning holes in their pockets, okay? Gamers are desperate to give you money. Like, it's mind-blowing how arrogant these video game industry idiots are. How out of touch these corporate fat cats are that they genuinely will slurp up studies like this. Yes, we need to get wine moms that watch MILF Manor to buy PlayStations and play Elden Ring. That will please Miyazaki greatly. You suits are so stupid. Until next time, my friends, create, innovate, inspire, and for the love of God, cancel Disney+. If this video brought you any value at all and you're not subscribed to this channel, consider hitting the subscribe button. Bye-bye.